As a homeschool parent, it was my biggest fear that I actually would not be able to teach my children to read. I obviously was super young when I learned how to read, so I had no memory of how that process worked and how to successfully do it. And I had several friends with the same fear. In fact, so many of them actually sent their children to kindergarten and first grade in a public school or a private school before pulling them home to homeschool them because they felt like the task of teaching them to read was literally more than they could manage and that they would fail at it. And so I want to talk to you today about my absolute all-time favorite resource for learning to read. And I want you to know I did teach my children to read. I have 4 children. All of them are fluent readers today. And we have had total success in this area. And if I can do it, you can do it because I knew absolutely nothing about teaching to read before I started. I would love to know, what is your biggest fear of teaching your students? Is it learning to read? Is it something else? I would love for you to put that in the comments below because I would love to know what subjects scare other parents to teach also. And if we haven't met before, hi, my name's Erica Lynn, and I want to be your homeschooling bestie. It is my hope to help make homeschooling easy for everyday moms and dads. And if you're watching this video, will you like it below so that I know this is a topic that is interesting or important to you? Now, the first thing you need to know about this resource is that it actually will work alongside any learning to read curriculum that is out there. So it's not going to contradict anything you're already teaching them. But one of my favorite things I learned while doing classical conversations is that children, especially at a young age, can learn to memorize information before it fully makes sense in their minds. And that is the premise that I am building off here today to show you this tool, which is a phonetic reading chart. So I just call this our reading chart. What I have put together here are all of the letter sounds that you can possibly make from the English alphabet. The only thing that is not on here are the consonants in the alphabet. I do have some up here because there are extra letter combinations that can make the same sound, but the 21 consonants in our alphabet plus all of these letter combinations make all of the different sounds that your child needs to memorize in order to be able to read successfully. And I have used this chart in 2 ways, which I am going to show you today. First, I want to familiarize yourself with it. So I have on this left side our vowel sounds. We have our short vowel and our long vowel. And if you like to teach your child the markings that go on a letter, like you would see in the dictionary, or maybe your curriculum teaches it, you can just write those short vowel and long vowel markings above the letters. I don't have them on the base chart so that it doesn't confuse those students who don't learn those markings. And then we have some consonant sounds, and I don't include all of the 21 consonants, just the consonants that come with additional letter combinations and make the same sound. So at the top, you're going to find a picture that's going to start with the sound like this is a kangaroo for K. But we also need to know that CK makes the k kangaroo sound and CH can make the k kangaroo sound. So all of those are in a line under the kangaroo, and your child can memorize with the picture that they all make the same sound. This section on the left and the bottom here, those are going to be your consonant vowel combinations. And so we've got letter combinations that make unique sounds that you do not find in the alphabet in these 2 sections. So they're new sounds that the student needs to memorize. And then right here in the middle, we have some changer letters. They make different sounds when they have a certain combination with them. So instead of your G's making the G sound, when they're followed by a changer letter, which is your E, I, or Y, it's now going to make the J sound. And same with your C's. When your C is followed by a E, I, or Y, it changes it, and it's now going to make the S sound. So we have those kind of separated in the middle. And these are all of the phonemes that your child needs to memorize. So the way I like to use this chart with any reading curriculum is, as the student learns these letter combinations in their curriculum, I'm going to show you on the backside, you're going to color that box in with a color. The consonant section, I color blue. The vowel consonant combo section, I color purple because pink and blue together make purple. And then the changer letters, I color yellow because they're just odd. Now, when I color these in, I would color the front and the back, okay? And I'm going to explain why in just a second, but that way your front and your back are both matching. I just didn't color it here because I wanted you to see what the chart looks like when you print it off. So each day, as you're learning your reading curriculum, you can identify these are the sounds that we've learned. The ones that are colored in, we've already learned those letter sounds. Now, the magic of this chart is not just to be able to look at it and find a letter combination when you're reading and to be able to determine what that letter combination says. So it's kind of a decoding system while you're reading. But the gold of this chart is when you start coloring these in, I use this back side, which is blank. It does not have the letters. It only has the pictures as a copy chart. And this is where they can start memorizing these letter combinations without even fully having to master them yet. So what I do is I put this into a sheet protector, and every morning before we start our reading program, I put it in front of my child with a dry erase marker, and I tell her to use her marker and copy in all the letter combinations of the colored squares. If it's not colored and we haven't learned it yet, she doesn't have to copy that. But write down the letter combinations of all the colored squares or rectangles that she can remember. And then once she has all those filled in, we switch to a different color of dry erase marker. And now I have her just flip it back and forth and fill in the rest of them with a different color marker until the entire chart that's colored is filled in. I have the entire chart colored, so this is what it would look like at the end of the reading curriculum. But in the beginning, you'll only have 1, 2, or 3 squares colored in at a time that they're working on memorizing, and they'll add 1 or 2 more each day, depending upon the speed of your reading curriculum. So eventually, they will have all of these sounds memorized. Now, the reason I do 2 different colors markers is because your child is going to be able to see on week 1, I could write 1 letter in my first marker color, which means it was memorized, and I wrote 5 letters in the second marker color, which means I had to copy it. On week 2, I was able to write 3 letter combinations in my first marker color. That means I had it memorized. And then on week 3, I was able to write 5 letter combinations that I had memorized. And so seeing the difference of colors and how they get more memorized and they're in the first marker color is such a moment of success for your student. It's very encouraging to them to see how much they've gotten memorized. And doing this chart every single day is going to speed up the time it takes to learn to read significantly because they're going to be reinforcing every single sound. And even if they don't fully understand the concept yet, just copying these letter combinations down every day does help their brain to learn them faster. So this has been my absolute favorite resource that I have used throughout my entire time homeschooling. And probably because my biggest fear was that I would not be able to get my students to learn how to read by teaching them myself. So it helped me to overcome my biggest hurdle to homeschooling. You can purchase this chart of mine. I've had it linked below in this video as well. You can get it on my website at ericalynhomeschoolmom.com. And I hope that this helps your student feel confident and like they can master reading. I hope it helps you make learning to read a joyful and smooth process. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was a blessing to you. And if you found this helpful on teaching your student to read and memorizing these basic phonetic sounds and letter combinations, I think you will really find it helpful to see this video where I show you how we sound out words and piece together these letter combinations. And I show you what that looks like for my student and what a tedious process it can be. So I hope some of you will find that validating for your homeschool experience. And I want you to remember that you are building a brighter future for your family every day.